So welcome to the show, Amalia. It's so nice to have you here today, and I'm really excited to talk about obviously your journey and the journey of your business as well, because you run a really awesome business, a family business place. First of all, do you want to just talk to the viewers what a family business place actually does and what it involves?
Okay, so Family Business Place is an events and membership company founded by my mum and I 10 years ago. Wow. So we were a family business running a marketing agency, and sort of realised that family businesses have their own complexities, their own nuances, that people who are doctors or who work in a bank or in a corporate company never have to worry about that at work. Mm-hmm. So working alongside your mum or your dad or your brother, or taking the business over from your grandparents, or those sorts of things can really influence what happens in a business if there is family dynamics at work. Mm-hmm. So we just thought these businesses are really unique, and that is what makes them really, really special. Mm-hmm. So we want to build somewhere where they can go to meet each other, share, learn, network, do business with each other, mm-hmm. but also a place where we could publicise them, shout about them from the rooftops, so that people understood that family businesses really are at the heart of every community, they're the heart of every high street, and that when you're buying from a family business, mm-hmm. you're helping that family put food on the table. That they employ over 9 million people in the UK, mm-hmm. And there are over 4 million family businesses in the country. So we just thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if there was this brilliant community where they could all meet each other and share with each other and do business and really help each other grow. So we started out 10 years ago as a tiny little community, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And, you know, we've got everything from husband and wife startups in Cumbria, we've got a 26th generation butcher in Dorset, we've got fantastic IT tech companies in London. So it doesn't matter who you are, what industry you're in, if you're a family business, then you're welcome to be part of our community, which it's been a fantastic journey. We've met the most incredible people, as you can imagine, entrepreneurs, building businesses, building empires. So
no, it's such a super concept, and I mean, like you say, like families at the best of times, family businesses have their own unique challenges. Yeah. Families can be volatile at the best of time, and then when you add in that business and having to make a business work, that just adds so much more.
But sometimes being a family in a business means that when times are really hard, you just knuckle down and you get on with it together. And you're sharing those difficult moments as a family and pulling each other through, which is very different to running a business on your own or being part of a corporate company where you could be made redundant tomorrow. So the great thing about being a family business is when it's tough, you just batten down the hatches. And they're types of company who they don't want to make people redundant. They don't want to let people go. They want to just, let's get through this however we can. Yeah. And there are businesses out there that are, 50, 100, 300 years old. So they've been through recessions, they've been through wars, they've been through all sorts. But I think it's the very fact that they are a family business that's the reason they're still here today.
Okay, and as you said, you're a family business, and it's that dynamic that having a family behind it, where you pull together and you really knuckle down, you batten down the hatches, and you get through it no matter what it takes. Have you, as a business, experienced that yourself?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, you wouldn't meet any successful entrepreneur without hearing that they've been to the bottom, they've been at the very lowest point in their life somewhere along the line. And for us, my mum founded a brilliant branding marketing agency 25 years ago, employed 15 people, and unfortunately we lost the business. And that was 10 years ago. I was working for her, and it was really hard to put your own mum's business into liquidation, something she had built for 15, 20 years. She hadn't been there in the evening. She'd sacrificed a lot of family life in order to build this fantastic company and give us a great lifestyle. So it was really then hard to lose all that. And I just left university and joined the company. And so to be part of that, it was horrendous. It was heartbreaking. It was just awful for us, for the staff, for our family, and particularly for my mum. And at that time, obviously, we found all of her team jobs, which is fantastic. Amazing. But it left my mum and I thinking, right, okay, what are we going to do now? And we could have started another marketing agency. She had a great network of clients. But we had just started this tiny little thing called Family Business Place. And we just thought, you know what, this is our chance to do something. Every cloud has a silver lining, doesn't it? And everything happens for a reason.
Definitely.
So let's take this tiny little gem called Family Business Place and let's make it something special. And do something really, really meaningful that we can look back on in 10, 20, 50 years' time and think, do you know what, we did that, we built that community. So that's what we decided to do. So we picked ourselves up, and you can either spend your energy being angry and hunting down the people that put you there, or you can take that ball of energy and make it something fabulous. So that's what we decided to do. So here we are today, and we've built the business together. We're now a team of 8. My mum became the chairman last year. I became managing director.
Amazing.
So we're living it and breathing it. So we are a family business. We're doing what it says on the tin. And I look back to 10 years ago, and I just think, do you know what? Yes, things happened for a reason. It was horrendous. It was horrific. But somehow we're still here. We still love each other, care for each other, and we've managed to build a wonderful business together. So
that's really good. So the very fact that you've been through that 10 years ago and you had those challenges, don't you feel that has really helped you now be in a better place and better qualified to help businesses and family businesses that are going through those similar challenges?
Yeah, I think in this world of business where it's really tough, so you have to do double the amount of work for half the price these days just to stay afloat. I think it's really important that people believe in you and that you are authentic and genuine. So the fact that we are a family business, we are living it, breathing it. We've been through the succession process. We employ non-family members. I think that's what people like about it. So, we can understand what they say, we can empathise with what they're going through, and it's sort of become a bit of a support network. When times are tough, there are other people like you out there that have been through a similar thing, and when things are going well, it's great to be able to celebrate with other people that really appreciate it. So I think in this world of business where you are doing business with people, it's so important that you're authentic and that people can really see that in you.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, being authentic, and I think people just sometimes want someone to say to them, yeah, I get it, I do really understand what you're going through, and that really helps them a lot, as well as the fact that you've got a wealth of knowledge to...
And in a family business, and we've talked about work-life balance, in a family business, I don't think there's such a thing, because work is your life.
Yes.
And your life is work.
Yes.
So I think, you don't walk into work at 9 o'clock and suddenly become a different person.
No.
That person that you were on Sunday afternoon round the kitchen table is the same person that rocks up on a Monday morning, because this business that you've built, it's been your baby, the blood, sweat and tears, you've sacrificed things. So I don't think there is any distinction in a family business. Of course, you have to be disciplined about when you get home. Maybe we don't talk about it because my kids don't want to hear about all that all day.
Yeah.
But I think when you're in a family business, or when you run any business, if you're an entrepreneur, there's no such thing as work-life balance, because work is your life. And you don't even call it work. You don't think about it as work.
Yeah.
It's providing a livelihood for you and your
fluid,
family,
isn't it?
and for the future.
Yeah. So you're the same person, and because there is obviously this massive thing around having a work-life balance, and people say you should have it, and then if you don't have it, you feel like you're failing, and then people say that you will never have it because they'll always be in sort of flux and they'll change. But no, I completely agree with what you're saying. You should be fluid, and you should be the same person.
And I met a really fantastic guy last week, and he talked about, rather than work-life balance, about managing your energy. And I think that's a great concept. So if it's Monday morning and you just feel rubbish and you just don't feel like you've got great energy, it's okay to take the dog for a walk. It's all right. You don't have to be at your desk. And it's this thing about being present all the time, people making sure you're working because you're at your desk. But actually, if you can manage your energy, and if you decide, Saturday mornings are great for me, I'll go for a run and then I can get loads of work done, I'm really productive. Well, who cares? It doesn't matter if you're at your desk Monday to Friday. So this thing about flexible working and work-life balance, actually I loved what he said about managing your energy and just being the most effective person when you are full of energy and when you've got it, and actually recognising in yourself. And then for us as leaders of businesses, recognising in our team when perhaps the energy levels are low, and we need to say, go and have a half a day, go and pick your daughter up from school, go and, because they will do what needs to be done when they're back to full
100%.
energy. So I really like that concept.
It's really good, and it's so true. Like, if you look after people and you if you take into account how they feel as people and you accept that not everyone's the same, that really works well, obviously within a certain remit of a business, but it really helps if you can accommodate that, because people buy into you and then they will go above and beyond for you, which is great.
So in our business, we're all female, just coincidentally, and most of us are mums with young children. So we all work 4 days a week or part-time. And some people work Monday to Thursday, some people work Tuesday to Friday, some people work half days. And you know what? It doesn't matter. If the job gets done and the business is thriving, it's fantastic. And if it means you get to go to your daughter's piano recital, how wonderful is that?
Yes.
You know, I just think in this world, you cannot expect people to slog their guts out for you 9 to 5, and then that's the end of it. What you want is them to go home feeling like they've made an impact, that they've been given responsibility, that they won't miss out on things that are important to them, and that's how you will keep great people.
Yes.
And it's hard to find great people. So you need to, and I don't think saying, we offer flexible work is good enough now.
No.
You need to say, I understand you as a human being, this is what makes you tick, this is what you need. We can accommodate that. What I need in return is 110%, and for you to be with us as the business grows and thrives. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. So from university, you went into the marketing brand with your mum. Was that always the plan that you would, or would you?
No, so I joined my mum's marketing agency out of uni while I was waiting to get a real job, which I thought was just going to come along and land in my lap, like I think most people leaving uni do. And I started off as her personal assistant, which is a great way to get to know business because you deal with the whole business. And then Family Business Place came along, and I loved it, so I stayed with the business. And then 10 years later, I'm still waiting for a real job, and I found myself running this business, and I just think not a lot of people get that opportunity in life.
No.
You know, not a lot of people. And I've grown up in a world where my mum's a fantastic entrepreneur. She's a brilliant, strong woman. And then my dad stayed at home and raised the family, and that allowed us to do that. And not a lot of people get that opportunity.
No.
So for me, I've always been led to believe that anything is possible. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You can do anything. But I think a lot of people don't get that opportunity. So, so here I am 10 years later.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, really cool.
And throughout the 10 years, what challenges have you sort of had to face and overcome, like as a person and in business as well?
So I think when we lost my mum's business, that was really, really tough. That probably put a strain on the whole family. And, you know, I see my friends joining big city firms, earning goodness knows how much money. And there I was thinking, what on earth am I going to do with the rest of my life? So that was really hard personally. And then I think finding my identity. So when you follow in the footsteps of a brilliant entrepreneur as a parent, it's quite hard to find your identity. And she's a very outgoing, vivacious person, so everyone knows who she is. So I think building my own reputation and my own peer group behind the scenes, that's been quite hard. And then I got pregnant, decided to have a baby with my husband, and I thought, you know what, yes, I can do this. The business is in a good state. I'll go away, I'll have a baby, I'll give myself 3 months off, and I will come back. 3 months came and went, and I just one day said to my husband, I'm not okay, and I don't know what it is, but I feel really low. I just feel like I can't face the world. I feel like this big dark cloud is hanging over me. And in my head, I put it down to the baby blues. It's the baby blues, it's hormones, that's what everyone tells you. And then we've got a really good friend that's a midwife, and she said, you know what, baby blues don't last longer than 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, which I never knew, no one ever told me. So I went to the doctor, and she said, I think you've got postnatal depression. So for me, someone telling me I had depression was just like, no, it can't possibly be true. You know, I run a successful business, I love my family, I've got an amazing family, I've got a great set of friends. But I did, and I had a really, really tough, crappy time. And I only really, I think telling my husband was a good start, just sort of voicing it and hearing it out loud. And him feeling at the beginning completely helpless because he didn't know what to do or how to help me. But I talked about it more and more, and then we decided to tell my mum. And then she said, I have postnatal depression with all of you. But I think back then you just got on with it. And my mum ran a business, so she went back to work after 6 weeks and didn't have a choice.
Wow.
But I did have a choice. So I sat down with my mum and I said, look, this is how I'm feeling. And I did go back to work. I'm trying to balance going back to work and trying to be a mum, and I didn't think I was succeeding at either of them. And she just said, you know what, it's fine, the business will cope without you. You're my daughter, here's my grandson, I want whatever's best for you. Take a year off. Most normal people take a year's maternity leave.
It's very true.
Take a year off. And I think that alleviated that pressure then, where I just felt like, okay, it's okay now, I can do this. My team are amazing, all just stepped up to the plate. The business did brilliantly without me. And I managed then to enjoy being a mum.
Yes.
So now, now I look back at photos when my son was tiny and I don't even remember him because I was in just such a horrible place. And the moments I should have been enjoying him, I had this big black cloud and I was just sobbing my heart out all the time. And it was really hard. And I think probably for a lot of women, it's the lack of control. You go from being able to control everything. If I wanted something done, it would get done. If I wanted to make a decision, it would be made there and then. And all of a sudden, you have this baby who doesn't play by the rules, who wants to feed at 3 o'clock in the morning, who doesn't want to sleep for 8 hours, So I think that lack of control really impacted me. And it led to, quite severe postnatal depression. So starting talking about it was probably the best medicine I could possibly have had. I did go to the doctor and they did say there are things we can do to help you. There are drugs you can take. I don't particularly like taking any kind of medication, so I decided not to. And at that time, I sort of rekindled with an old school friend who had a baby at the same time. And she introduced me to another friend, and the three of us just managed to get through motherhood together and share all our concerns together. And it didn't care if I rocked up and I hadn't had a shower that day or I'd been wearing the same pair of leggings for 2 weeks. It didn't matter because we were all going through it together. And I think it was okay to be open and honest. And I'm really happy to talk about it now because I don't think enough people talk about it. And it affects a lot of women and it's perfectly normal. It's cruel, but it's normal. And if someone out there had said to me, yeah, I had really bad postnatal depression, I would have felt like, oh, okay, it's okay. Yeah. Other people do it too. But I felt really alone and it was really, really hard. So I had these couple of friends and they were phenomenal and they're beautiful children. And I had an amazing family and I've got a fantastic husband who's just a rock. And sometimes looks at me and says, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I don't know what I want you to do. Just give me a hug. So that was really, that's probably the hardest thing I've ever been through. It was really, and you're expected to be enjoying your baby, which of course I was. I loved him to pieces. But like I say, I wasn't in the moment because this thing was hanging over me. So I took a whole year off and then went back to work. And when I went back to work, I went back as managing director and I just felt like, yes, I've spent my time with my son. I've been a mum. I've learned how to be a mum. And now I want to go back to being me and being the person that I want to be, which is running a business, running a team, building this community, inspiring people. And I have a great balance now. And my son gets to spend time with my mum and my dad and my sister who look after him and a childminder. And then I get all the great stuff. I get the hugs in the evening and the weekends. And it's a really good balance. But I think it's really important for women to understand that being a mum it's not who you are necessarily.
It's very true.
You need to have your own identity. You need to have your own self-confidence. Otherwise, how are you going to lead a team if you don't even believe in yourself? So I think it's okay to say I work. It's all right. Yes. I'm building something for the future of my family and I'm enjoying it and I'm loving it. It makes me a better mum. It makes me a better wife. It makes me a better leader. So I think it's okay for women to say that. Yeah. You don't have to be scared to say, I want all of it. I want everything. It's all right.
I think that women feel like we were saying, it's about keeping all those plates spinning. Yeah. And I think women do feel bad about, especially if you're a new mum, that you have an identity, that sometimes being a mum is not the only thing you want to be, and you want to be a person in your own right. Yeah. And I've had a lot, some older friends that they've got to when their children are starting to go to university, they're leaving, and they're like, okay, what do I do now? I've been a mum for so long, I don't know I don't know who I am anymore. And I've got an amazing role model for a mum. So I wanted my son to grow up thinking, my mum is flipping awesome, you know, and I wouldn't have been that person had I not gone back and gone into business and done the things I wanted to do. So I want him to be able to look up to women and respect them and think they're amazing, they can achieve anything. Well, how can I expect that of him if I don't sort of do it myself? And then the other part of that journey, probably 99.9% of women in the world, was my weight and how I felt about myself. So probably 5-6 years ago, I was morbidly obese, terribly overweight, didn't do any exercise. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm just fed up of feeling like this. And so I started doing a bit of running. I joined a running club. I did a couple of half marathons and I built myself up and I did a marathon. And it took me all day. That's all right. I don't care. But I did it, and only I ran those 26 miles. Only I put one foot in front of the other.
No one else did that for me. It was excruciating, and I probably would never ever do it again.
I don't know if I'd ever do a marathon.
But the sense of achievement when I crossed that line was out of this world. And what a confidence boost that was, really. And then it helped me get back on track with my health and my eating and exercise. And I think most people in business have got a competitive streak, and it's healthy. It's good to nurture that. So so setting myself a sort of physical goal in terms of exercise and health and food and eating was really, really important. And then when you become a mum, all that goes out the window, because all you want to do is make sure your kid eats and sleeps, and you're changing nappies. And so that's another thing that I've had to train myself. Right, okay, now it's time. He's fine. Now it's time to start looking after you again. Because if I walk into a room and I'm not confident in myself, no one's going to believe in you, are they?
No, exactly. Like I think that's especially true. Like if you say things, like if you're confident about what you're saying and you're coming across really well, then people automatically they buy into you and they believe.
Well, when you walk into a room, you migrate to the person with the biggest smile, who's he's got their arms open. That's the person you want to talk to.
Exactly.
Not the person that's just shying away in the corner. So that's why I wear pink clothes, red dresses. And I'm proud to be a woman in business. I don't think we need to really set ourselves apart from men in business. I think all the women I know that run businesses aren't there because they're women. They're there because they have brilliant minds, that they have great ideas, that they've got grit and determination, not because they're women. But I think it is important for men to understand and for women to let them understand that yes, giving birth to a baby is huge, and actually it may take you a little bit of time to recover from that, and there may be a bit of a fallout. You may not be in a mental state that you could go back to work 100% as you once were, but actually if we give them a bit of leeway and we give them a bit of help and nurturing, that woman can be the very best she can. She could be as equally successful as any guy, so but I think that's an education for men and women.
Yes,
to
definitely.
understand.
That's really important. And from what you've said, like listening to you talk now, from what I've picked up on is not only obviously you've got like the determination and like the vision overall where you want to achieve, but you're very good at accepting personal responsibility, and that it's down to you, like you said about running the marathon. It was down to you to do that. And obviously as well, getting recovering from the postnatal depression, accepting that responsibility was yours. Yes, you asked for help, but you seem like a person that's very good at accepting the responsibility, and it lies with you to change things. And I think some people do shy away from that. I
think a lot of people don't like to look in the mirror. No. So you can say, oh, I'm overweight, but it's not my fault. Okay, or I'm really not healthy, but it's not my fault. Or I'm not getting the promotion I want, but it's not my fault. There is always something you can do to change things. So I think it's really important to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And I am really open with my whole team that I am not perfect. I don't know everything. And every single person in our office is better than I am. But that is a success to a successful business, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need
so they are all phenomenal in their own right. And I think it's, any good leader will recognise and be okay with the fact that they're not perfect and that they have flaws, and to meet and take on people that are brilliant at those things, because you cannot be all things to all men all the time.
You can't.
You just can't be. But I've got a great team around me. I've got a fantastic family. And also I think women, they take on so much responsibility themselves. Oh, just let me do that. I'll just do it because I'll do it properly. I'll do it better. And I have to understand that I have to offload some of that to my husband. And the way he does things may not be the way I would do things, but it doesn't make it wrong.
No, exactly.
It's just a different way of doing it, you know. So I think women are just really hard on themselves. And it's okay to say, do you know what, I'm really not very good at that. Or I really hate doing that, can someone else do it? Because someone else will love it. And I think if you can do that, you will just get further faster. But if you can recognise that in yourself, definitely.
Do you think that there's a pressure on women to be the best in every area? So be the best mum, the best to run a business, be the best in the gym.
And I don't think we help each other.
No.
I don't think that when you rock up to the school gates and you look at that woman who's stick thin, you have no idea what's going on in her life. but no one talks about it.
They look at that snapshot of the perfect
So
picture,
when I
don't they?
told my friends, actually, I'm having quite bad postnatal depression, they're like, oh my God, you would never know that. I would have thought of everyone in the world. You look like the person that's got it all sorted. You're coping with it brilliantly. Well, that's my fault, that I just made people feel like that. And I didn't accept help, and I didn't talk about it. And I think women need to be better at that, at saying it's okay to not be okay, you know. Yeah, definitely.
It's that fear of being sort of judged, isn't it,
Absolutely,
really?
absolutely. But nobody is perfect. How can we
No.
expect anyone to be perfect?
It's very true. But yeah, I think sometimes you can get sucked into that, certainly that, what's the word I'm looking for, that like fake image of that women have to be all things all of the time.
Definitely. And they don't give guys enough credit.
No.
You know, most of us got fantastic partners and they just don't let them do enough. And they want to do it. They want to do it. And like I said, it's just because it's not the way we would do it doesn't make it wrong.
Exactly.
But it could alleviate a lot of pressure off women if they just let go of some things, you know, and ask for help. Ask your mum to take the kids to school, or ask your dad to go and pick up the shopping. It's okay. You don't have to be Superwoman to be a Superwoman, you know.
I love that. You don't...
Yeah, I just made that up on my foot.
I love that. That's so good.
And also, we, as a business, we do quite a lot of charity work, and a lot of it has been in East Africa. So we've dug borehole wells in Uganda, and just starting to work with a charity called Mothers to Mothers, and that is about mothers becoming mentors to other mothers. That's and super. Helping them through that. And I think we should do more of that here. You know, it doesn't have to be an official role, but if you could just mentor someone that you can see is going through a bit of a difficult patch, or is having a really hard time, or just offer to make a cup of tea and have a chat. I think that would be really helpful and really important. And the more work we do with people who have just got the most horrific things going on in their lives, and then there's us worrying about whether our hair's straight or curly in the rain. These women that we work with in Uganda have to walk 5 kilometres to get some water. The girls can't go to school when they're on their periods because there's nowhere for them to go and get cleaned up or changed. And that sort of puts your life into perspective.
It so does.
So I sort of see our role in what we're doing now in building a business, and as a mum, I think my role is also then to give back and to help anyone that I can in any which way who has not perhaps got all the luxuries that I've got, and you know is far worse off than we are. And I think sometimes you just need to get a perspective on your life as well. You know, don't sweat the small stuff and enjoy what's happening and make the most of what's happening now. And my mum's friends said, life is what's happening whilst you're busy making plans. And it's really, really true. I can't wait till the wedding, till my promotion, till we move house, till we whatever. Whilst you're waiting for that, life is just happening.
Exactly.
And it's passing you by.
And then you just like, it's either you're planning for something or you're like, sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there will come a day when there are no more tomorrows. Yeah. And your life has passed you by.
And you have to enjoy what's happening now. So even if it's a really tough time, even if the business is having a really tough time, or if you're having a horrible time at home, or find joy in something every day and just try and embrace that and be happy about it and be in the moment. And I found that much more since I've had my little boy. It's this thing about being in the moment. So I never let him see me on my phone. I don't do any work in the evenings because I think you have to be in the moment, because before I know it, he's going to be at school, he's going to be at university, he's going to be picking my care home, you know, and I think if you're not in the moment now, you're going to miss that. And also if you're seeing it all through a mobile phone, if you're seeing it all through a camera, you know, it's happened in a photo, but you haven't actually been there in the moment.
No, and you can look back and see it, but it's not the same.
No.
And I think as the world has got bigger, in the sense that Instagram, Facebook, everyone has the opportunity to be more connected, but I just find that sometimes I'm just aimlessly scrolling through and I'm looking at all these people and they're in Bora Bora, or they're driving their car down the Pacific Coast Highway, and it's like I'm not living my life because I'm looking at them do it. And it's like, I feel like sometimes it would be very easy to just fall in that trap of not forgetting to live your life.
But also, if you want to do that, make it happen. It goes back to blaming other people, thinking, oh gosh, she's got such a brilliant life, oh, but it's because her family are rich. Well, no, it's probably not. It's probably because she's worked her butt off to get to where she is. So make it happen. Make it happen. And I think that's what I've learned from working with family businesses. And you see some of the biggest brands on the high street, you know, Hobbycraft, Specsavers, Warburtons, they're all family businesses. It hasn't landed on their lap.
No.
Someone along the line has put their house on the line, has sacrificed family time, has sacrificed holidays to build that business, which is now a very successful national brand. And I think that's what I've learned from working with family businesses. The people behind them, they're not, you know, stuck up and silver spoon. They have worked day and night for that. And for them, it's not even about them now. It's about the people they employ, the mortgages they pay, the food they put on the table, and the legacy that they're building and leaving for future generations. So I think really the lesson I've learned is, do you know what, it's no one else's fault, it's no one else's problem, and it's no one else's responsibility except yours. If you want to make it happen, make it happen. Some of the most phenomenal people I've met have come from literally nothing. And they could have stood there and said, oh, do you know what, I come from a really terrible background, or I haven't got a supportive family, or I haven't got a rich set of parents. But they didn't do that. They stood up and said, I haven't got any of those things, so I'm going to make a success of it. I'm going to be the change here. And they are the most brilliant people, and we need more of those in the world. Absolutely.
No, I completely agree. Amalia, it's been so fantastic to talk to you today. If people want to find out more about you and what you do, where can they find you?
So our website is familybusinessplace.com. We're on Twitter, all that sort of shebang. And then the work that my mum does with family businesses is anitabrightleyhodges.com. And we're in Kent, and our doors are always open to any family business if they're struggling, if they just want to share, if they just want to have a chat. So that's where we are.
Perfect. And I'll put the links and the social media stuff in the comments.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.